Right. Joining us in the studio to discuss this highly controversial and debatable issue is Irbard Ibrahim, and he's a security and political analyst, and he's right here with me. Irbard, I must say this is not a restful moment for you. You seem to be talking all over the place. But let's look at the story this way. Why should Ghana accept Guantanamo detainees in the first place?
I think the priority of every country is to keep your people safe.
Right.
And therefore the concerns that are being raised about the potential security ramifications of such a robust foreign policy decision are quite legitimate.
So is it safe to bring the detainees here?
Personally, I think they don't pose any existential security threat for us. They are like jihadi pensioners.
Right.
They are weak and frail, and they don't have any wide network or contacts with current actors, whether in Afghanistan or those areas ISIS controls. So therefore, much as I think these concerns and fears that are being expressed are legitimate and genuine, but I think some of them have been quite misguided and unduly exaggerated.
So what kind of impression would you want to correct? I mean, those misguided opinions that have been expressed all over the media.
First of all, it is wrong to think that if Ghana is contributing to the international efforts to rehabilitate these people, will be exposed to potential danger. I think Kenya was attacked in 2003 because of the large military contingent it deployed into Somalia to fight against Al-Shabaab. Chad, Niger, and Cameroon have all been attacked by Boko Haram because of their military contribution in the fight against them. So far, when we engage our boys abroad, ever Ghanaian soldiers, Dagomba Ghanaian soldiers, Fanti the Ghanaian soldiers, they do so on peacekeeping missions. So therefore, I don't think helping to reintegrate these two guys would put us on the radar and make us a potential target on the hit list of terrorist organizations. So the fears are quite exaggerated, I think.
Right. So the other question on the minds of a lot of people is, how are we going to monitor their movement? If, let's say, you move into the Accra Mall to do your shopping and these guys are also there, I mean, would you feel comfortable?
Look, jihadis are ordinary human beings. When you disarm a soldier, he's an ordinary human being. I think we are not, stooges or puppets of America to have taken such a decision. For anybody who thinks terrorism is an American problem, then you are wrong. It's a global phenomenon, and all hands should be on deck in tackling it. Today it is Yemenis, today it is Syrians, today it's the people of Rwanda. If we shut our doors to them, what will happen if we find ourselves in trouble tomorrow? So the U.S., as I said, when America, sneezes, the whole world catches cold. They are stronger allies, and I think using Ghana as a stopgap measure in the DDR approach, the conflict management approach of disarmament, demobilization, and rehabilitation should not be a cause for concern for us at all.
What are we going to benefit?
I think we stand to benefit on three legs. Number one, Ghana will be touted as a humanitarian country. That would be in the same league with forward moving countries like Switzerland and Norway. That would always, in times of people's distress, open their doors to provide solace and redress for them. And I think this is deja vu. I think we are creating a mountain out of a molehill. If we created Bujumbura and brought 40,000 refugees into this country, why should the status of two unarmed pensioner jihadis create this brouhaha about our national security?
The name Guantanamo Bay is a bit scary. So why would we, don't you think that we would be seen as a country that in the same league with the United States?
No, it's not enough to warrant...
Especially by people who don't like America.
It's not enough to warrant an attack on Ghana. I think these are middle-tier Al-Qaeda operatives. The two most important GITMO detainees are KSM and Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who is accused of being the mastermind behind the 9/11 attacks, and Afia Siddiqui, who was a double agent working for the CIA and the Taliban as well. And so these are, people, leaders of Al-Qaeda, leaders of ISIS, even though currently there's a rift between Al-Qaeda and ISIS. They have actually called for what we call in jihadi circles, Kasrul Judran, peeling down of prison or detention sentence to free those people. But these are quite obscure figures. I think Fox News, because it belongs to the other side of the political divide, sought to dramatize this. I think there should be, we shouldn't, create a tea out of a storm out of a teacup. Ghanaians should take it easy. I think think due diligence must have gone into this. Ambassador to the United States even had to go to Guantanamo to interact with these people. They needed screening, profiling, and background checks have been done. So I think this is a good decision. We can't go wrong on this one.
Right. So we will return to you before we finally run it up. Emmanuel Sowate is a security expert, and he has also joined us on the line, and we will be glad to hear his side of the piece. He has a different argument to make. So, Emmanuel, good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Good evening to you. Good evening to your host. Good evening to your viewers.
Right. Ibrahim Sowate, I understand you have a different argument to make about the presence of 2 Guantanamo detainees on our soil. What exactly do you have to say?
Yeah, it's alternative perspective, and alternative perspectives are always welcome because that is how you sharpen your discourse. That is how you learn.
Great.
Now, the first thing is that, you see, every country is common knowledge, and you all know every country's vital national security would always be paramount in any treaty, in any arrangement. So, for example, country A and country B might have some consensus in certain areas of their vital national security, but there might be adherence in certain respects. Now, what happens in international diplomacy that is also common knowledge is that no matter how nice a country packages a treaty or an agreement or a program, almost without exception, you should know that that country has a paramount interest, and that country's interest will supersede the other country's interest. So, for example, if I have X people in my country and I want to get rid of them, and I'm coming to country Y, I'll tell country Y, I've done all due diligence. You can trust me, these people pose no threat. Even if I have a footnote, that can be a possible pointer, because that can undermine me, depending on my assessment on the level of sophistication of the recipient country. I will package it in such a way that it will endear to my interest in the short and medium term. Because you see, sometimes the packages are very attractive in the short term, but in the long term, counterproductive. In the life of a country, 5 years, 10 years, it's nothing. So that can even be short term. Now, the other thing has to do with clearing people. Yeah. For example, if human beings, you cannot freeze their minds in ice. Human beings are rational thinkers. They change positions. Right. Positions they have might assume new significance. They might have new belief, and that belief might transform their action and inaction. So, for example, let me break it down to the Justice for All program. You see, the Justice for All program, you realize that some robbers have been arrested because they were released on the Justice for All program. Yeah. Some of them were genuinely released because of our prison system, where sometimes innocent people are kept for a long time. But once you go into the prison, you are exposed to a variety of violence, a variety of deviant behavior that can change your initial viewpoint and initial orientation when you are arrested.
All right, thank you, Emmanuel Sowate. I think you've made your point. He seems to be saying that they are human beings. These are people that you cannot trust, because no matter how well they are packaged, they still remain a threat.
Alaj, I think we spend a lot of time poring over documents, both classified and declassified, on the issue of transnational militancy. The record we have is less than 10% of those who are freed go back to the battlefield. And they do so in unique cases, like Saeed Shehri, who rose to become the second in AQAP, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula in Yemen. He was killed in an American drone strike last year. So I don't think we shouldn't make a fuss about this.
So we shouldn't worry at all.
Look, with the proliferation of weapons in this country, with the kind of political tension we have enough on our plate. I don't think we should judge too much about this subject. There is no cause for alarm. Ghanaians should know that I don't think our government, as responsible as it is, would take a leap into the unseen to endanger and imperil our lives as a people and our national security. So Ghanaians should take it easy. We shouldn't exaggerate the fears, and I believe we can pull this off. And the bilateral ties that bind us with the United States of America will be further consolidated by this good gesture we are extending to them.
Irbard, great to have you.
You're most welcome,
this issue. It still remains debatable, though. I'm sure people will say what they have to say. They will still be likely to be confrontational or challenge the idea of bringing, suspects into this country. But well, we live to see, I'm sure.